All right, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect through the work in sincerity and in truth. Shalawam. This GMS precepts and our chad here. And real quick, I got a lesson that I thought of during the day, speaking about humility. Oh, I just realized it said rank in the kingdom. Um, right, about humility, right? And this is, as you can see, this is Matthew's 18, right? Right, because the Lord already gave us a secret to being you could say he gave this a secret, or he gave us one of the characteristics or attributes of the elect, and that's remaining humble. Okay, that's one of the keys in this. You got to remain humble. Okay, so let me go ahead and start with this. Matthew's, I got a few scriptures, and I gotta, you know what, since I mentioned the definition of humble, let me grab that from the Bible. I'm sorry, not the Bible dictionary, from dictionary.com. Humble, it says not proud or arrogant, modest, right? Having a feeling of insignificance, inferiority, of subservience, right? Then he gives an example. Let me read this one first. Though very successful, she remained humble, right? Or modest. That's a very a big attribute, right? In the presence of so many world, these are examples. It says, in the presence of so many world famous writers, I felt very humble, right? To lower in condition, importance, or dignity, abase, right? That's a key word, right? To be abased. Matter of fact, yeah, that is scripture. I think I have that also. To be abased, right? To destroy the independence, power, or will of, right? Since I mentioned abase, right? I believe it's Philippians. Here it is. This is what the fucking, oh boy. Philippians 4:12. It says, I know both to be abased and I know how to abound. You see, the spirit. I didn't even want to come here first, but since I'm just rolling with the spirit. It says, I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. Right? Abound is obviously the opposite of being abased, right? Because there's certain times, right? Because the Lord, what's that? Proverbs 11:1. But the Lord deals with balance. Okay, right? So abound meaning, I know when to be, assertive, right? Because there's certain times that requires you to be assertive when when you're with your woman. Women typically, or not typically, they want men that are assertive, or know how to lead them. You see, in the right direction. Okay, and there's certain times you have to be humble. You have to be abased. Okay, you have to be abased. You have to be humble. For instance, concerning correction, right? Because there are plenty times in this truth. We're not perfect, and there's times that we go off when a brother or an elder or whatever humbles you or corrects you. You feel like a kid. You feel like, damn, I fucked up, man. Why don't right? But there's certain times. Don't Now that's not the time to be assertive or proud. That's the time to be abased, right? So this is balance. Proverbs 11:1, it says, "And the unjust balance is an abomination to the Lord." Right? I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. My glasses on. It says, "Everywhere and in all things I'm instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need." Okay. All right. So that's funny. So yeah, I brought that out because of this one of the words in this definition. You see? And you know what? Since I got bound, let me get that one. It says to occur or exist in great quantity. Yeah, so this one really doesn't get it. I think it brings it home. I got the etymology um, definition. It basically means to overflow, right? It says be in great plenty, to abound, right? Because it says to be abound, like with, like, for instance, like to abound in like faith, right? Or confidence, right? Confidence is with faith, right? For example, when you pray to the Lord, you're supposed to abound in confidence. You're supposed to be sure of what you're praying for. Not waverly. The scripture on that. You have to have confidence in your prayer to Yahawashi. Okay, it says to abound, be abundant, come together in great numbers, to overflow, run over. You see? Then it goes down to the breakdown. AB is off, away from. Under plus under is rise in a wave. Right? So it's like an overflow. Overflow of what? Of faith. Right? So he's saying here, I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Right? Right? So let's go back to Matthew's 18:1. It says, and this is the Lord speaking to the disciples because he saw them. They were going back and forth about who's the greatest in the kingdom, right? That's why it says here rank. The title is rank in the kingdom, right? It says 18:1, the same, and you can find it also in Mark 9:33 and 37, in Luke 9:46 and 48, right? It says here then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be the greatest, speaking about the 12. Right, Mark 9, it says, and he came to Capernaum, and being in a house, he asked them, what was it that ye disputed among yourselves by the way, right? So they were going back and forth about who's the greatest, whatever. So it says this is Matthew's 18:1, at the same time came the disciples unto Yahawashi, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahawashi called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, right, ye shall not enter in the kingdom of heaven. So he's telling you to be the key to this is you have to become very humble. You see, having an argument or going back and forth about who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom, that's showing you they were kind of, at times they were simple, because that shouldn't even, it's a kingdom. That shouldn't really be a topic of discussion, or an argument, right? But he was like, the key to that is you have to be humble, man. You have to be abased. You have to know when to be abased, and you have to know when to abound. Okay, he says, see, next line, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as a little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such child in my name receiveth me, right? So the point he was trying to make is, because children, they're naturally humble. They're very inquisitive. They say, that's, a child, at from, they're very impressionable. That's why, oh man, I seen one video of a toddler. The kid was probably like 1 year old, but he was probably like maybe under 2 years old. I know that he was in a car seat, doing gun gestures. This is a so-called J kid. He had like a toy in his hand, and the song was on. He was lip singing every word to the song, and he had something in his hand, and he was mimicking it being a gun. So where did he learn that from? He learned that from his parents, man. Probably his mom. Most likely the dad's not around, and he just saw it watching videos. It's probably from when he was born. All he do is watch videos, because that's what his mom likes to do, or his father likes to do, or whoever's around him. He's watching music videos, because in music videos, what do? They have, they have guns, and they point it at the camera, and that's what he was doing. This kid must have been, and I believe it went viral, so I'm sure who brothers and sisters watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But the point I'm saying is, a child at that age is very, very impressionable, right? And they're humble. They're willing to take in anything that you tell them, right? So that's the key. One of the keys is you have to. So that's why Yahawashi, he gave that example. He said, "Be as this little child, man." Okay. You don't want to be too proud in this, right? Because I don't know, the apostles. I'll give you one example. The apostles, they've been in this for years, right? But they always go back to the 92 Israelites, early 90s, late 80s, when this thing was, when they had a lot of members coming in. You had a lot of people that fell out, and always, they always go into this, even to this day, thousands. They've seen thousands of people fall out. And what's the common denominator? They didn't remain humble, man. A lot of people were proud. You see? A lot of people were too proud. That's like the number one thing of a fallout. They're just too proud. They don't have a humble bone in their body, man. Right? So to be humble that's a very and I try to be humble as much as possible, man, because this whole thing, it says rank here. This whole thing about, we have a ranking system, but that's all it is. It's just for rank, right? Oh, I don't want to, I got another story, right? Quick tidbit, and I got this from Apostle Gabar, man. And when he said this, it stuck with me. And he said I believe he was teaching on humility as well. And he said, look, one of you brothers, I believe I was in the audience. He said, yeah, one of you brothers could be over me. So you gotta watch who you gotta watch how you deal with brothers, man. No matter, I'm not gonna deal with a brother any less because the Spirit had him coming after me. I'm gonna deal with that brother with humility and love, man, because the Lord's watching, man. And I don't know who that brother is. That brother in his spirit could be over me. I just happen to be over him at this moment, simply for rank. But that doesn't mean I'm spiritually over him, man. And I got this, I move like that because I got that from Apostle Gabar. And I've been around the apostles for, elders and apostles for years. They are the definition of humble. They are very humble, man. I can't say that enough. Anyway, what else I got? Let's close it out with this. I got one more scripture. This is Matthew 23 and 12. Straight to the point. This is the where the Lord is speaking about the Pharisees, how they love the upper rooms and they like the phylacteries, right? See, I'll read verse 25. It says, "But all their works," this is chapter 23, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi, right? Which is Father, I believe, right? And that's what these dudes from these other groups. That's why they might know that they're going off, but they don't want to lose their seat. Like I'll say it. I'm a young man in the truth, but I'll say Nate. That dude know he's going off, man. I believe, at least I believe so. I believe he knows he's going off. But the Most High, the Lord, he has him in a trick bag. He's like, if he admits that the apostles, like for instance, let's say concerning the name. If he admits that, the name is in fact important, guess what? All his followers are going to leave. They're going to be like, yo, you full of shit. Like, yeah, you know what? I got to, apostles to GMS, apostles to Harl and brothers, all the apostles, they're right, man. GMS, they right as far as a name. That name isn't to be played with, man. You know what? Let's take this name. We ain't going to be called Yahawashi no more. If he was to do that, he will lose more than half of his followers. But he's not going to do that. Why? Because he's not humble. He's not being humble, right? And you don't want the Lord to step in and humble you. That's the last thing you want. Let me jump down to 12. It says, you know what? Let me continue reading. This is good. I'm gonna read 8 to 12 and close. It says, be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Yahawashi, and all ye are brethren. Right? We all brothers, man. We all brothers. You see, Matthew's 20:20, I believe, speaks about how we all are going to receive the same penny, no matter if you came in early or you came in late. We're all going to receive the same penny, and that's the kingdom of heaven, right? Verse 9, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Yahawashi. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant, right? And that's how the elders are. That's how the bishops are. That's how, that's how the apostles are, man. They're very, if after camp, brothers could ask, he might say Apostle Hard when he closed camp. All right, one question and then we leaving, and then next thing you know, 5 brothers got more questions or something to say, right? Why? Because essentially, the apostles are our servant. We're all servants, right? Because we're serving, the elect. We're serving Israel. We're trying to bring in Israel. But the apostles, they're our servants, man. In a sense, I'm not saying we over them. Just try to understand, you know. But they're here to serve us as far as giving us what we need to become perfect spiritually, you know. Verse 12, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be what? Shall be exalted, right? And when are we going to receive that exaltation or be exalted? Fully, we're going to be fully exalted in the kingdom, man. Right now we don't have it. Right now we're still subject onto the rulers, but if you watching the news, you see prophecy, we can see that there's going to be a power shift where the nation of Israel is going to, Esau is going to lose that power, and the next ones up to receive that power are the Israelites under Yahawashi, right? So, Lord, when you brothers and sisters are edified, that's it. Until the next show, shalawam.